So we're technically live. However, y'all know it takes a second for it
To
Oh
come
yeah.
on through.
to catch up. That's the only thing I hate about it is this delay. Delay is garbage. I mean, there are people here. I just don't know who is here.
I hear
It
my
looks
kid
like we're up.
cry.
Oh,
And Daddy has him.
Oh,
Oh, okay, there we go. Hey, Deidre. Hey, y'all. Sorry, it always
oh,
takes it a second. There we go. Now it's kicking in. I'm like, sheesh, this thing takes forever. How's everyone doing?
you know, living,
Living.
living
my motto this
large,
week is
on the
survival.
edge.
Yeah. Have you started your move yet?
Our house goes up in a few days,
Oh, jeez.
so yeah.
Damn.
So survival. That's the key phrase of
Yeah,
this.
survival is the key.
Survival.
Not you're trying to hide from the kids. I get
That's
that though. I get
accurate.
it. I definitely get that. I get that feeling. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's been a long day. Today's only Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Jeez, man. I hate going back to work after any holiday because it doesn't feel right.
Yeah. I think that's my problem this week. I'm like, oh yeah, we just had vacation,
Mhm.
and now I'm
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Yeah, and it gets rough. It gets super
Mhm.
rough. Okay. Well, what's everybody reading before we get into the conversation about Saga 3 and 4? Erica is not going to be able to join us this evening. She had some other stuff.
I just finished Iron Widow by Shiran J. Zhao.
Uh-huh.
Um, which I guess sort of a spoiler because my vlog is gonna come up. It was supposed to come up today, and I totally have not been on top of video stuff recently. So it'll probably go up on Thursday, but I absolutely love that one. It
Okay.
was so good. Very weird, like sci-fi, but it also has like the Chinese history, like figures, but in
Mhm.
completely different setups than like what they're supposed to be. But it's
Okay.
not supposed to be like history. But it was so good. Like I think it might have potentially cured my reading slump because I'm in a reading slump.
Okay.
It was
Dang.
Nice.
good.
I literally just got that from the library, and I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I
I have
it,
it
it's
on
it's
audio.
so weird, but like once I was in it, I was like I did not want to put it down. It was very
Yeah.
good.
Izzy, are you able to read anything right now?
Yeah, I am tentatively kind of reading Sing Me to Sleep by R.M. Virtues. It is about a nightmare that comes to life kind of situation.
Oh,
So I can't
geez.
read it at night. So I start my dumbass started this book at night and was like, oh wait, you cannot read this at night. So that's the only thing on
Yikes.
my currently reading shelf because I cleared everything because it's the last of the month.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm liking it so far. I just can't read it unless it is daylight out
Unless it's daylight. Gotcha.
because I don't want to have night terrors personally.
I
It
feel
be
you.
like that.
It's not worth it.
Not at all. Bree, what you reading?
A bunch of bullshit.
Wow.
I'm just okay. I wouldn't say it's bullshit. I shouldn't say that like that. It's just like a lot. So dang, I have to hold on, let me get to it.
Would you
Sorry.
like me to go before you?
No, I got it.
You got it
I
now?
just
Oh,
realized I messed up on something and I'm gonna have to try to remedy that tonight. So I need to finish Karen Slaughter book False Witness.
okay.
I'm 70% through. I think I can probably sort of kind of finish it tonight. I'm starting Medical Apartheid. I'm gonna actually vlog it.
I'm vlogging it too.
Ooh, I
Hater.
can't wait for
Copycat.
these vlogs.
Both of us hater.
Copycat.
And then I got Carol Lindstrom, We Are Water Protectors. It's like a
Wait,
children
wait.
book.
Yes, picture book. Hey, Sorry, completely
Yeah.
off topic, and I'm sorry for interrupting you. Vlog it. Let me know when you're vlogging it. Videos go up and live show. Okay, we'll talk. We'll text. We'll talk about it.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
cool.
Do you want me to vlog We Are the Water Protectors?
No, not that one. I'm talking about medical apartheid.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah,
Got it. I already
yeah.
wrote it down in my notes.
Okay.
And then hold on. And then oh no, I read all of those. I was like that those library books. I read all of those. Then I'm trying to finish Ellie's Volume 1. It's getting
Mm-hmm.
hard to get into it. This Place 150 Years Retold. I hope to finish that soon.
I still need to finish that one.
And then By the Night. It's a comic, and then another comic, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yeah. Look
Oh, I
at
need to
you
read
reading all these
Sabrina.
comics. I'm
I
so
know.
proud. I feel like a proud mama.
You should be, because it's your fault.
I feel
It's
like
the
a proud
best
mama.
though. Like you
I'm
can
like,
genre hop
comics,
so
comics.
easy.
They're
Hmm.
so good.
It's the best because you can like genre hop. You can get it all. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
30-minute reads, an hour. Like it's so nice.
I didn't
No
realize
commitment.
that I didn't realize that I can actually, because I want to read more horror and mystery, I can do that with comics. I didn't realize that until
Mhm.
recently. So I've
Yep.
been like
Mhm.
trying
Yep.
to find everything. So that's what I've been doing. But anyway, something killing the children might be like
Oh, I
some of
love
my
that one.
favorite shit.
So
I'm
good.
into it. I'm
James.
into it.
James. Oh, I love James.
Yeah.
James is doing the Lord's work. That's what I said
He
in one of
is.
my recent videos. I was
He
like, I don't
is.
know this James man, but he's doing the Lord's work.
James is everything he writes for me has been gold.
Wow.
Literally gold. He is a trailblazer and and he has so much versatility and like because he's written for DC, he does indie. He's just I'm in love with the man. He's great.
He's doing the work. How
Yeah.
can we not? But yeah, so
Okay.
that's it.
That's it.
Hmm.
All right. I just recently, like literally before we got on this live, I finished Adam Schiff's um his political memoir. It- It's over a 500-page book about the impeachment of Donald J. Trump. It's called Midnight in Washington.
Ooh.
Fucking gold. It was so good. It is not light. It is a very heavy book. It's over 17 hours on audio. But when I say it will make you feel some type of way about a lot of things, about a lot of people who are still in office right now, I'm telling you, do not read that book and expect to not get pissed off. Um, because I was in a bad mood today at work while listening to it because I was in the heat of him talking about the Senate the Senate's vote for removal and the second round for the second impeachment. But it's really good. It's very detailed, very meticulous. It's definitely one of my favorite nonfictions for the year. Although I feel like I've read nothing but nonfiction about Trump this year, which I don't know what that says about me.
I know.
Um,
I was looking at that. I said you must have the bandwidth for that because
Yeah, I don't know
I
the
know I
I've read
don't.
You've got some
nothing. I've
bandwidth
read
going for that one. I don't know how.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I've read nothing but nonfiction about Trump this year, and it's been seeing it from so many different perspectives. I think is what's making it super interesting. Um, but I also um, I'm reading "You Truly Assumed," which is it's a YA book that's coming out February of next year. It's about three Black Muslim girls who all kind of band together to write this blog after there was a terrorist attack in DC, and because of the terrorist who committed the act, his name, um, people associated him with possibly being Muslim. They're kind of dealing with the fallout with that. So a lot of what I've been reading is prepping for ordering
Mhm.
for next year. So it's been a lot of like picture books that are coming out next year, and it's a lot of advanced reading stuff going on. These next couple of months, just trying to prep so I can make some sound financial decisions about what to order for the library. But yeah, yeah. All right. Somebody else has read Something is Killing the Children. Yeah, yeah, it's
I
good.
just got it off Hoopla.
Yeah, it's so
So
good.
good.
After
Been
you
meaning
read, so
to.
here's the thing. After you read the first three volumes, you'll figure this out because the main character's name is oh, what's her name? Something Slaughter. I can't remember her first. Erica
Erica.
Slaughter.
Yeah.
Erica
Hmm.
Slaughter. He
Mhm.
now has a new series. It's called House of Slaughter. So,
I
yeah,
need
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Here I
yeah.
am on Hoopla again.
Yeah, yeah. It's been. I don't know if House of Slaughter is on. It should be on Hoopla.
Isn't that going to be a prequel?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. But I've been trying to
I
like.
want it so bad that like I
It
need to do that.
is. It's on
Yeah.
Hoopla.
It's on Hoopla. Yeah, I was about to say it's indie, so it should be on
Nice.
Hoopla. DC and Marvel are a little tricky when it comes to Hoopla, but indie usually does pretty good.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
have tons of stuff from them on Hoopla.
yeah, yeah. So House of Slaughter should be good. Um, and then I've been on my trying to read through some DC stuff, getting to not Future State, but Fear State, which takes place in Gotham City. So trying to do that. But that's about it. That's all I've been reading. All right. So no, I haven't Bethany Apple Skin to the Court. I haven't read it. It's been on my radar for a minute, but I haven't read it yet. Okay. So let's dive in. Volume 3. Ratings. I'm not going first.
I'll go
4 star.
first, happily.
Okay.
4.
4.
I think
Chelsea?
I'm giving it like 4.5,
I'm about a 4.
potentially 5. Like it's. I liked that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on my story graph because I don't want to make a liar out of myself.
I haven't reviewed it yet. I haven't reviewed 3 or 4 on Goodreads yet. So, but I'm sitting at a 4 for volume 3. I forgot a lot.
Oh,
I
I did
forgot
Same.
a whole
4.25.
Same.
I forgot a whole lot. Um Anybody want to summarize what happens in this volume? I'm still trying to collect my thoughts from volume 4. So I'm trying to kind of
I
separate.
just read them both today, so I'm probably like would just do the whole thing.
Oh, I
Okay.
I have the same
separated it
number.
actually. I
You did,
separated it
okay.
on my notes. I took a picture of it at work.
Smart.
So we follow the story of Alana, her husband with the horns, can't remember it, the
Marco.
grandma, the baby Hazel, and the weird witch the weird spirit that I still feel like she up to something. Now, you follow the story of them, of the guy, his name is the Will, trying to make a decision. Unfortunately, something happens to young Will, and then they're like trying to get him fixed. And then the woman Gwendolyn, who used to be the man with the horn, old Boo thing, came up in the situation. She messed
This
some things
summary.
up.
I love it. It's perfect.
This is
She
amazing.
messed some things up. I'm just trying not to spoil it right now. She messed some things up. Her timing was off, and she killed the good one. Okay, she killed the good one, and she will never be forgiven for that. And then young Alana came up and was like, I'm gonna take you out. But then she didn't take her out. Anyway, the story progressed of them trying to fix young Will. Will in the coma. He ain't living like, I'm spoiling now. I mean,
You're
yeah.
spoiling it now a little bit.
I
And
mean, this is
then
Spoiling it now.
not gonna be spoiler filled.
it is. I was just trying not to, but then I failed at it. And then
No.
it continues with like you learning about their relationship. Uh what's his name? Alana's
Who?
husband.
Marco?
What's
Marco.
Marco?
Marco and Alana's relationship? But I also thought it was cute in this series, in this issue, sorry. I'm trying to say the names right. In this issue, not issue.
volume.
volume. There we go. In this volume, that the baby Hazel took her first little baby steps. Oh my god.
Mhm.
So I was really excited about that. And then you saw like a budding romance between Marco's mom and the good old
That
author. So that's
shit
pretty much what
is
I'm gonna say.
sad. It
Mhm.
is sad. That's the part that I can't get over is how many people die between volume 3 and volume 4.
It was
I
so much
forgot.
death.
Stuff
It is
just went
wild.
down, and I was like, I completely forgot.
It was
I
so much
forgot.
death. It was so much death. I also
I mean,
rated
I knew. Okay,
number.
I knew they were gonna die though. Like, but I was like, I forgot it happened in these volumes. I thought we had like longer with the author with Heist. Heist isn't that his name?
No, I forgot that he
Yeah,
died.
Heist. I think I
It's,
remembered that he
Oh,
did, but again, I don't think I knew it was volume 3. Like, we got to that like ending of volume 3, and all of a sudden I was like, wait, are we actually doing all of this right now?
mhm.
It was
Yeah,
just
it was devastating. I did want to point out two things. One, the way abortion was talked about, I was like, okay.
choices were
Uh,
made.
yep. The way a woman's place should be was discussed. I was like, okay. And also the F word was
Yeah, was
said. I
thrown
didn't
out.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I also want to bring it back to a line I wrote it down. It's just land. Dirt is dirt. And I was like, I don't know if indigenous people would agree with you.
no,
So
yeah.
that is was something I thought of.
Yeah.
Moving on, that's my wrap up of Saga Volume 3. Let me know. I'm ready for 4.
What? I do agree that there were quite a few things that naturally I think now once again we kind of had this conversation last live show that reading it now in 2021 I think there are things that stand out a little it for me personally I can only speak for me they stand out a little bit more they read kind of awkwardly um including all the things that Bree has
Mhm.
said but there's some interesting dynamics that were kind of um talked about that I was kind of like, yikes, that was a choice. That was a whole,
That was a
that was a
that was an
whole choice.
entire
Well, and I think it
choice.
depends on like the characters and stuff too, because a lot of the stuff that you mentioned, I also was like, what is this? But because we have so many different races and stuff, I feel like a lot of it is
Hmm.
sort of portraying like I'm white. Like we see that. And so like I'm sure that there are certain point of views that white people are going to see more than other people. And so even
Hmm.
though it definitely does not hit right and I was like why are we talking about certain things right now? Like he has so much stuff in his work that is like showing you the horrible reality of certain things and I feel
Hmm.
like some of that was put in there on purpose for that.
I get
But
what you're
like,
saying.
but I mean,
It's harder to see when you're
mhm.
looking at characters that literally are not racially.
No, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mhm.
it's not what we would. I don't want to say racial norm because I don't think that's right, but what we
Yeah, I
as
don't think they have a
humans,
norm, right? Yeah.
yeah, we're
We
not
wouldn't
seeing it,
easily
but
categorize it. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Thank you, Brie. That's what I was looking for. So I could see
Mhm.
what you're saying there, Chelsea. Like some of that may
I
be
I feel like
intentional.
some people have privilege in even in these stories, and it's harder to
Mhm,
tell because again, it's not necessarily based on race. But I feel
mhm.
like that is he's trying to at least put that out there.
Yeah.
Like, because that's how I read some of it, not all of it. Like some of the stuff about abortion and stuff like that too. Like it just 100% was like, are we really doing this? But the
Yeah.
Mhm.
stuff about the land, again, I did not appreciate that because like it was the author and the grandmother, and they were
Mhm,
like talking about like what are you going to do about it, and he
Mhm.
again, I don't know. He's the only Cyclops person that we've really seen, so I don't
mhm,
know
Mhm.
how he would fit in privilege wise. But I'm sure it's different than like what she was experiencing. So I feel like that was part of what that was probably supposed to be.
mhm. I get what you're
I
saying.
found yeah, I found that the biggest I don't even know the word because I can't think of it, but I thought all of the volumes until now,
Mhm,
Hmm.
um, it was really about the class that you're in
Mhm.
versus like
mhm,
They definitely go to
how
class
you
more than some of
identify.
this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was
When we
more
see
with
that a little bit
mostly.
more in volume 4 with the TVs.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Classism plays is a huge, huge, huge thing in volume 4.
Mhm.
I
Um,
do think. Oh,
That
sorry.
man had
Go
a
ahead.
flat screen as a face.
I'm done. I can't. Go ahead, Izzy.
I was gonna say I think it's interesting how much things Brian K. Vaughan tries to comment on just in this series
Yeah.
on the whole. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, we have to assume a good intent for the most part here,
Mhm.
Mhm.
aside from slurs and certain things, obviously. But like generally speaking, like the classism, race stuff like that, I feel like he's trying to commentate on it in the comic space, which
Mhm.
is very interesting because, like, obviously
Mhm.
in 2013 when these were coming out, that was not a
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, that was not a thing. Like, people were mad because the character would be black instead of white, and it was just like it was
Yep.
embarrassing. It was
And
embarrassing.
we're talking about that in terms of comics too, y'all. Not that these
Mhm.
conversations were not happening um globally or in the US or anything like that, but in a lot of times whenever you read these materials, it's not, I always say um it's not excusing, but it's attempting to kind of understand where
Mhm.
this series kind of was at in terms of comics.
Mhm.
In the comic world, as we will probably continue to say, as Bree and I will probably address a lot of this too as we read some of that older stuff. Um, Comics are always so much slower because you're dealing with a lot of, middle age white men who are both writing, running the industry, writing the comics, illustrating. So a lot of what Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples are doing with Saga is, like Izzy said, it's very beyond, even though
Mhm.
it doesn't seem like it's beyond its time in 2012 and 2013, it is way beyond its time when you think
Mhm.
about it in terms of like the comic book. Um,
Well, even rereading it, I've noticed stuff that I didn't notice the first time as much,
yeah.
obviously, because like we all grow, we learn
Mhm.
more, we understand more of things, and it's like
Mhm.
it's very interesting, like remembering that it was like super progressive when I was reading it and it was coming out like issue by
Mhm.
issue, and now I'm like, oh wow, that's in there, huh? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
interesting.
think I think it's also like even though they're talking about a lot of hard hitting things, there is humor in
Yeah,
Saga
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mhm.
that I
yeah.
don't think we talk about enough. Like I thought the humor when Marco and Alana went to talk on the beach after Marco and the mom had an issue, right?
Is she
And
praying?
right,
Yeah.
she
Nope.
praying.
Not
That
not
shit
praying.
took me out.
Yep.
The praying took me out, and before that, it took me out when she was like, "That's surprisingly progressive what you said, but still, fuck you," kind of thing. And I was like, "That's too funny." Or in
Oh
Volume
god.
4, when when Will sister was like, "Okay, I'll help you on your quest, but the kid can't come." And then she was like, "I'm not a kid. I'm almost 8." And I was like, "If you'll sit your ass down." So I thought that was funny. Like the little hints of
Mhm.
humor.
It's
I
cut
think
with sweetness in a weird way.
Mhm.
it is, and I think it has to be though, because it is so dark. It is. I mean, I think we talked about that last live show, like that it can like manifest itself as a dark comic,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and like I knew that, but even when I got to volume 3, I was like, yo, like you don't get attached to any, this like some Game of Thrones type stuff. Like
It really
Mm-hmm.
felt
you
Mhm.
don't
like
get
it.
I
attached to
forgot to
anybody.
not get attached.
And I
I mean,
felt
the
bad
only
because
person that you should be attached to is Hazel because
that's
she's
it.
Yep.
talking.
Because she's
Like.
talking. So she's the only one that really has potential to survive, because it was crazy. It was like I felt so strongly for like Marco's mother finally, she's finding someone
Mhm.
that's kind of gone through similar trauma and losing a spouse,
Mm-hmm.
and and just, they bonded together kind of in their grief. And then here comes Gwendolyn, and I was like, dang, girl, like, bruh, I can't get down with you no more, because that
No,
just,
they should have killed Gwendolyn. She can't live no more. She just came.
oh,
How you come in there asking for help and you killing? You
It
killing.
was
You
terrible.
coming
The
to
first person you
Joe.
see too, yeah, like.
And it's just like, it's rude. And I just feel like if you want Marco penis, just say that. Just say that.
Well, she came in and said that it wasn't about Marco anymore. That she
Mm-hmm.
found somebody new, remember? So like it wasn't even about him
She had to save the will.
because she loves him. She said that.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that
I
because
mean,
the
that was
lion
what she
cat said
said.
lying. The lion
Did he
cat
say
called
that
her
right
out.
then?
Yeah, like they were leaving, and she was like, "Oh,
Well,
I'm
she said there was
going
nothing
to
else I
do."
can do for him, and then he said lying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When she said I
Yeah.
love, or like I had found somebody else, Lion Cat wasn't there with her.
Oh no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no! Lion cat wasn't there.
I
Although I
don't
I
know
love
if
still
I
Lion
feel
Cat. I
like
believe
it's
it
a
love
though.
Lion
lie.
Cat calling everybody out on their bullshit. Like,
It's the best.
it's so
Mm-hmm.
good.
Not
I
the
don't know if I
squirrel in the
believe it at
house.
all. Gwendolyn loving
What
the.
did
I don't
you
know.
guys think
I
of
don't
the
know.
scheming between the grandma and the author to get them to the circuit?
Mm,
I liked it.
I
I
have
thought it was so
feelings about
funny.
Volume 4, so I don't know.
I mean, I do too, but I just that little part when they're like washing dishes.
I mean, they
They're
were
like,
cute
it's
trying to do
working.
that, you know?
I was
Like,
like, it's hilarious.
yeah. They were like interfering parents, you know? Like, they're like, oh, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
set these kids up.
But
Yeah.
that's what made his death even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Was
I
that
know. I
yeah.
was
because
like, damn it.
I was pissed because it was almost like they created this moment. And I mean, Hazel talks about that. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
had our good moments. They don't last long,
Mhm.
but they were there. And it's like, it's true, like those moments where it's like they were bonding, they were plotting, and just it felt normal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're reminded that nothing about war is normal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the whole thing. Like, there's so much things, like you said, Izzy, that I feel like he's addressing in this series that
Well,
I
and
would go ahead.
yeah, is this volume the one where the author talks about his son being in the war, or is that the
What?
last volume?
No,
No.
it's,
The
it's
I mean, he
volume
author.
talked a
3.
little bit to the TV in the last volume, and then he talked more, I think, to the grandmother in
Okay,
this one.
In
so
this one.
like that part, like where he talked about the traumas of war, and I was just like, man, we're really hitting on it,
Yeah.
and like, because it's true, like the partner's a veteran, he's a disabled vet, and like we have, went through it with people
Yeah.
extensively,
Yeah.
and it's not uncommon that we get the call, so and
Yeah.
so, and you're just like, fuck, every time.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, he like really hit that, and I was like, damn, in like 2 panels, and I was like, god damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brian gave on. But I'm also like,
Exactly.
I'm glad people are seeing that, because I don't think, people think you get out and it's over, it's done. You don't have any, like, not that you don't have PTSD, but like, I think the trauma people have, they don't always think about how bad it could be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really
No,
liked those panels as an issue. And it
I
kind of
do.
addressed the grandma's trauma.
Yeah. Yeah, because
From
she
war.
does as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I definitely feel like she embraced her trauma a little differently. And
Mm-hmm.
I hate to jump, but even the way, because I didn't even think about Alana. Not Alana. Is her name? Yeah, her name is Alana. Jesus.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't even think about the way that maybe she had trauma that she wasn't really dealing with
Mm-hmm.
until we get to that 4th volume. I'm like, dang,
Mm-hmm.
my girl's on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, on drugs.
Yeah, on
And
big drugs,
on
big
big drugs.
time.
Yeah. And she literally is like, I mean, granted, you know, Isabella probably was not the person to make the comment too, considering that she is dead. But the fact that she said, think about what I've seen, and I think we're so hyper focused on her and Marco, running away together, having Hazel, and now basically trying to run away from everybody in the galaxy. We forget almost that these two also did serve
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and did kill and did watch
Mm-hmm.
people,
Well,
get killed.
especially with Alana, I think it was volume 3 is like when the reporters were coming in and interviewing people. They had like one of her commanding officers, and
Mhm.
they talked about like a bombing thing
Oh,
on
the
a bridge,
bridge.
Mm-hmm.
and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
how it was literally you kill these like tons of people on this bridge or the enemy gets through. And so she didn't want to do it and she hesitated, but then she did it anyway, and the commanding officer was still so mad at her for hesitating. She got her into a different unit, and then the commanding officer even says if she wouldn't have done it, like she would have let 8 people from their side die. 8
When
versus
they
however
said
many
that,
people on the bridge. And I was like,
exactly. I
and you
was
and because she hesitated for a second, she still did it. She still killed all those people by blowing up the bridge. but because she hesitated, you shipped her off to like the other planet with like the prisons. Like,
Listen, when I
there's so
read
much
that
stuff that we don't
shit,
know probably that happened. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when I read that shit, I was like, really? Like, because it said
Mhm.
trillion or billion, like a
I
lot
can't
of
remember how many
people.
said that they like were on the bridge when it happened, but like they literally said 8.
8.
Their
Mm-hmm.
side would have lost 8. And I'm like,
I'm like,
Yep.
really? How do you justify that?
You don't.
That's some Hitler Nazi shit,
But it's
right? It's
amazing that
like,
but it's amazing that even though this is not, Saga itself is fantasy,
mhm,
sci-fi, it is a reality of war, like in real life. Like that's how people, it's very, and it's so sad because it's you you try to train people essentially to become numb to the act of killing another human, and that
Mm-hmm.
is traumatizing. I can't imagine, I couldn't imagine in a million years, would anybody who is been in the military, active duty, and has seen some stuff that you can't take that away. But there are people, they're very desensitized to stuff like that, and it's crazy to me. I mean, the way that he kind of connects, and you don't, like I said, my first read, I would have never connected the dots to a lot of the stuff that we've talked about. But going back and reading it and thinking about, the commentary on war and how he looks at like parenting
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
and relationships, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in there, like what it's like to be a parent in a situation like that and how difficult it is to navigate a situation like that. I just reading these books is traumatizing, to be honest with you.
I'm
It is
glad
a
we're
little
doing
bit.
like 2 at a time because it
Mhm.
definitely needs that like spacing out of other stuff. Because
Yeah.
even though they do have the heartwarming bits and the funny bits and stuff, like overall, it has some really, really tough stuff.
It does. It really, really does. And I was so, Gwendolyn, I thought I was gonna be okay with, but like now, I don't, I'm like Brie, like I just don't, not only because she killed the author, but like even when the will was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't
Hmm.
do this anymore.
Retire
I just want to
and be done.
retire. I just want to live
Mm-hmm.
and be done with this. And it's like,
Hmm.
no, but I have a mission. And it's like, girl, you are so selfish. Shut up. You have this whole
exactly.
revenge thing because you're a woman scorned. And now this man is like, I don't want to do any of this anymore. I don't care about the money. I don't care. Like, I don't want to do any of it. Granted, I mean, part of the time he was hallucinating
Yeah.
because, in the stalk.
Hmm.
Which I can't get
That
over
hallucination
him
was something.
being physically intimate with a spider.
Those
Izzy,
panels were an interesting, like top down view as
Mm-hmm.
well.
in volume 4, I was like,
Hmm.
wait, how does this work? And then when she was like, remember that time you asked me if you could stick it in my spinner? I was like, oh,
When
wow.
she said that, I said, not
I
the
was like,
external,
no.
not the internal one. I was like, whoa,
Whoa.
get it, girl. No, I'm just kidding.
What did y'all think of the reporters?
I'm indifferent.
They're
The
an
fish.
interesting commentary, I feel like, on tabloid
I
stuff.
I remember liking them better the first reread, and so I don't know if it's just like we haven't seen them enough because I feel like they come in like another volume too. Um, but I don't have any feelings either way necessarily.
Bree.
I might need a little bit more time on that.
Okay. Izzy.
I just, I don't know. They're weird. I feel like, in a way, like, again, I don't think it's
Hmm.
a bad commentary on, like, the tabloid style reporting, but it's
Hmm.
just interesting.
I find them, I think their role, because I can't remember where they pop in again, but I think their role is going to be much bigger later on. But I'm interested to see how they're going to navigate because of Will's sibling coming in
Mhm.
and kind of giving them that whatever they were shot with, basically saying that they can't, the way that they have to go about covering the situation with Marco and Alana and Hazel is going to be weird because they can't really speak about it or else they end up dying.
Yeah, it's like those three
Mm-hmm.
people don't exist.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't
They can
technically
do everything
exist.
else. Yeah, I
Which
don't
I
know.
think, which I think is fascinating that this whole, and I think it almost feels like it ties back to the what the author was trying to say is that nobody has wanted posters up, and some, I forget who says this in volume 4. There's no wanted posters of them because no one wants anyone to know that Hazel exists.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important because then it proves that at the end of the day, there's no need for these two groups of people to even be at war to begin with. They are proof that no war needs to be happening. So as long as they can keep that a secret,
Mhm.
they can justify the continuation of these senseless killings, which I find to be very interesting as well on Vaughn's part, Brian K. Vaughn's part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're proof that people can get along. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
they can't exist.
Which is sad, but it's, I think also that speaks to, I mean, that speaks to the world that we live in now. I think it does very much so.
Yeah.
Okay, volume 4. What would you rate it?
I think I gave it a 4.5.
A 4.
I did a 4.
I'm stuck on a 4 or 4.5. I'm not sure. There was a lot of shock value things that happened in that one that I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
really expecting. Like the princess being
I remembered that part.
brutally murdered. I
Yep.
forgot. I forgot a
Yeah.
whole lot.
I
A whole
apparently
lot.
And
remembered more of this volume than anything else, but I think it's also one of my least favorite volumes, which is saying something because it's still like a 4 star, but in my opinion, from like what I remember of the first like 6 volumes that I read, I
Yeah.
remember this one being the most like annoying to me.
Mhm. Why do you
all
feel
I'm
like it's
gonna
annoying?
say is grief is a motherfucker. Oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just some of the like the family choices. It gets so messy that I just want to like wring their necks. And
Yeah.
so it's just like a personal thing for me, like with Marco and the Bat Lady, and with Alana and her going off and doing her thing and the drugs and them not talking. Like it's just like everything put together. Even though it's very interesting to read and I know that there's a whole point to it,
Yeah.
it's so annoying to me. It's just like one of those things. So like I still gave it 4 stars, but it's just from my memory of everything that I've read in Saga, it's my least favorite volume.
Yeah.
Same. It is solidly in my least favorite volume category. I do think the drug plotline serves a point, but at the same
It
time, it just
does.
makes me so mad. Like their
Mhm.
whole like fight in this like volume is just like so annoying, and
Mhm.
the way they're like isolating themselves from each other, and it just drives me
Yeah. Oh,
up the wall.
I think part of it also is at the beginning of the book, Hazel says, "This is how my parents split up." And I
Mhm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
know, I felt like there even the first time I read it, there should have been more to it.
Mhm.
And then like the splitting up isn't actually like splitting up, and I'm glad that they did it the way that they did it, knowing
Mhm.
what's sort of coming next, but I just get annoyed.
Bree.
Um, I just felt like the guy who was killing everybody was just doing the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just felt like he was
Dango or
really
something?
aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like he was really aggressive, but I also have a hard time telling people how to process their grief, even
Yeah.
if it comes out in violence. So I was just like, man, he's dealing. And then when he picked up Hazel as if he was about to take her, I almost passed out. I was like, he's gonna take her, and I
Just
like
collecting
freaked
kids.
out. Yes, I was like, no. But I'm
Yeah.
kind of ready for him to die. I'm gonna
Oh,
say it. Kind of ready for him to head out. I think it's his time.
I do think that this is where Vaughn does a good job of showing classism and how it affects people, especially those who have suffered at the hands of classism. Because, I had a hard time kind of reckoning with him as a character. I think, um, not justifying anything that he did, but I had a hard time not partially feeling sympathetic to him or towards his
Mhm.
situation, because he literally had to watch his son die because
Mhm.
he didn't have
Clean
health
drinking
Enough
water.
money.
insurance. And I
Yes.
said, now, isn't that bad a bitch? Because how many people, even
Speak
within
on
a
that.
first world country in the US, quote unquote, die because they don't have the money to put towards sufficient health insurance? And even having health insurance, that's a whole nother conversation. But kind of looking at that, it was kind of like, dang, like you breathe, like I do too. Like I have a hard time telling people, like, this is how you should be grieving. You should, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard because he was not only angry at the loss of his son, but it was a senseless death. Like, if I would have the money to have to pay to, for health insurance, my son literally would not have died. Like,
Mhm.
literally
Mhm.
died because he had diarrhea. Like, he
Well, and it
got
was
that
also from not having clean drinking water as
water.
well. So it
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
like
yeah,
both of that put together,
yeah.
where you're living with the water and then not having the health insurance.
It was, I mean, I could only imagine, how it felt for him to sit there and have to literally, I mean, he literally watched his son die while, you have a monarchy that's thriving and is involved in a war that is doing nothing but benefiting that royal family.
Mhm.
And so when he went on his spree, I kind of felt like I saw it slowly coming, just because of the way that the alligator treated him when he was in the hallway. And I
Hmm.
was like, yeah, I feel like this situation is not going to go well. Like, I feel like it's about to go left. It's going
Well,
to go
didn't
left.
he have like a skull show up on his
Yeah, he
TV
did.
screen
Yeah,
too?
yeah, he
Yeah.
had a skull.
Mhm.
And I was like, there goes Fiona with the great artwork, kind of like foreshadowing that
Mhm.
this is not
Hmm.
this is not going to go well, because he had that skull on his screen. But I can't say, like, I mean, like, he didn't have to kill everybody like that. I mean, homeboy literally was just blowing everybody to smithereens. Like,
Yeah.
He didn't care.
But
he
can't
did
you also
not
just
care.
imagine him in like a, edgy YA book if he was a female heroine, like gray, morally gray character? Everybody'd be rooting him on.
You're right.
Putting it to the patriarchy. I mean, like taking down the monarchy, all this kind of stuff, it would work.
Yeah.
I mean, if since you out here speaking your truth, you know.
But yeah, he
Mhm.
definitely was. He was a very, very interesting addition to and he was the one who literally came in. I was like, all these people are dying, because even when he went to the circuit,
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Mhm.
yo, when he pulled the gun out, I was like, no, don't. 2
He
panels over,
told,
I was
like,
head blown up. I was like,
they said, like,
dang.
we don't need these people. We're just gonna go ahead and remove them.
I was like, yo, but what about old girl who snitched? I didn't
Yep.
feel bad when she got shot.
I hate her so much.
I hate her so much, and she always high. When
Well,
she
she was
came in the
quick to
locker
snitch
room,
too.
quick. When she came in the locker room and was like, the drugs, I was like, we can't trust her.
Well, she was quick with that too. Like
Yeah.
she was on top of like, hey, yeah, I have stuff here, take one.
But it was
And
so
then as soon as she had the gun on her, she's like, by the way, I have a better idea. Go
but
get
it
them.
Yeah.
wasn't even it
Let me
wasn't
tell you who
even
you can get instead.
it wasn't even that. She was snitching before that. Like, how you
No,
sell this girl
no,
drugs
seriously, she was so quick.
and then quickly be like, you're doing too much. The drugs are getting a hold.
True.
Right, you the one who sold her the. I was like, no wonder why the author couldn't stay with you. This is why he didn't abuse him.
That's
Because it's
why he said,
crazy.
"I'ma head out." That is why he
Yeah, that's
said,
why
"I'ma
he
head
left me.
out."
Because that didn't make no
Isn't she the one
sense.
that he said had some? He said had some issues. She's unstable or something.
Like he was
Yeah,
He
like,
said
yeah,
it
he was
in
like,
And he,
volume 3. He talked about his second wife, and I'm pretty sure that was her on that
that was
planet.
yeah,
her.
And
it
he
was.
said
that
that
was
she was
her.
unstable. I'm just putting it together now.
He said
But
She's
she's
artists
dealing
are
unstable.
drugs
crazy.
and
He said
on the
he's
drugs
afraid
that
of
she's
artists.
dealing.
Hmm.
Isn't
Yes.
that rule number one? You don't do what you deal.
Right?
Don't take from your
High
own
all the
I
stash.
time.
think she
She
lost that
was
in
smoking her own stash. I said, what type of dealer is out here doing her own drugs, then snitches on the person that she's dealing? Who snitches on the person that they're dealing to? I was like, when she did that, I was like, yeah, she can't be trusted. And then when she's like, I got a whole, we could turn this and the people want to see sex. I was like, yeah, just shoot her. Like, just shoot her.
Yeah, take
Because
her out. Just
take her out.
take
Because she ain't
grandma out.
loyal. She ain't loyal at
She,
all. She's
grandma
not
gotta go.
loyal. I was like, I can't believe she sold them out like that.
Okay, but it did give us like the best moment with Gus, where he's
I
like,
love
"Look at this
Gus.
cool axe I got." I was like, that would be me. I'd be like, "Yeah, but I got this cool axe. Like, it's all good. Whatever. Like, there's a friendo, but this fucking axe I got."
I thought he was funny. I
I
will
love Gus.
say.
He's so cute.
He
I was
is.
like, that dude's just living his best, you know? Oh man.
Oh yeah,
This
yeah,
is true.
yeah. Gwendolyn kind
I
of just Gwendolyn takes the cake. I think Gwendolyn takes the cake just because
Mhm.
of what you're right, what she does set into motion. She does set a lot of things
Hmm.
into motion that are kind of in the long run when you think about it, if she wasn't in the picture, it's a lot of stuff that wouldn't even have happened if it was not for her.
cause she was just she don't have patience.
No, she
And she has
doesn't.
this
Oh,
self-righteous like attitude that is just like, sis, I'm gonna need you to chill all the fuck way out. Just all the way out.
and she won't.
She won't.
Then I felt some type of way that she made was Sophie. That she was like, "Oh
Mhm.
yes, Sophie's my apprentice, and if I go to war, she." I'm like, "Girl,
Yeah,
what?"
if she's going on the battlefield, she'll go
She'll
with me.
yeah,
Why
Yeah.
are
she'll
you
go with me
taking
on
an
the
8-year-old on the
battlefield.
battlefield?
An 8-year-old.
An
You know that lady
8-year-old.
don't give a shit.
I said,
That
"Do you
lady
know how
don't give a
stupid you
shit.
sound right now? Talking about
Dumb.
you're gonna take an 8-year-old on the battlefield?"
Well, and an 8-year-old who used to be a slave, who probably deserves a much better life of just like go chill, like give her a good life and just be happy with that. Like
But that was
this
so
kid.
interesting. That's so interesting that that's what
The will want it for her to have a good life.
exactly,
That was he was ready
exactly.
to do that. Yeah.
Like give her a break, ease up on her, like let her heal from her trauma. And here you are, clearly not only was she a slave, but we're talking about sex
Mhm.
trafficking, and then you're exposing her to violence, and it's like you just have no regard for anyone but yourself
Speak
and
on it.
Mhm.
trying to get to Marco.
Well, and that's one
Speak
thing.
on
There
it.
was the scene in volume 4, I think, with Sophie and the lion cat where she talks about how like she's a good person and everything, and then she starts to devolve into the but I'm dirty because of, and the cat goes lying, and I
Oh,
almost cried. Like it was
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
that hit me hard. Like she was being all
Uh,
positive, and then as soon as she started to go there, the cat was like, "You're lying to yourself.
yeah,
Yeah, that
It
was
don't
wasn't
do
your
that.
fault."
yeah.
infuriating, but it was so
Yeah.
good.
When the band came in and shot those daggers at the reporters, and no, that wasn't it. I'm trying to remember when they came in. When the band came in, I can't remember the scene. I'm putting them together on accident, but the band came in
Hmm.
and hit the cat, the lion cat, and the cat, and then she was sad that it was dead. I was like, no, not the lion cat. And I was like, not me caring for a cat ass. But I
But
was
it's
in that moment.
but
No,
it
the
was
cat's fine.
true.
Mhm.
But they have that. I'm
Mhm.
glad that they do have that special connection because I just don't feel like without the will being present, I just don't feel like Gwendolyn has Sophie's best interest
Mhm.
at hand. Like I don't trust Gwendolyn at all.
Well, she
Like
didn't
Yeah.
not
start off
I don't
having
either.
her in the best interest at heart. Like even in when they
dang.
got her in volume 2, like he's always
Speak
had to
on
step
that.
in and be like, "No." we're not doing that.
And it's sad that it has to be like it. Oh man, just it's sad that someone has to step in and be like,
Hmm.
here's an 8-year-old who literally just got pulled out of a sex trafficking ring,
Yep.
and you're so hyper focused on this man and his wife, and it's like, let it go.
But that's
Hmm.
what our girl Lana said. Let it go, and she
Mhm.
wouldn't. She holding on to that old thing.
Which is ridiculous at the end of the day, to be honest with you. Super ridiculous. What about Prince 4?
Damn, poor guy, but
That
So
not
was
there's
poor
so much
guy.
stuff that goes
wild.
on. Yeah.
I don't feel bad for him at all.
I don't know if I
I
feel
kind of,
bad for him, but I do like how badass him and Marco showed up at the very end of Volume 4, and I'm just like, I'm here for it. Let's go.
yep,
When
Mhm.
they're like, we're gonna track the ship using the like walrus animal. Gus is gonna like track them, and I'm just like, just that
yeah.
portrait of them at the very end of the book.
It's a
I'm
nice
ready.
panel.
It
Yeah,
It
that
is.
was
was
nice. That was a
nice.
fire panel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
nice. But I
yeah, that
also
was a
felt
fire
like
panel.
And then we got to see his dad too.
the
Finally.
flash screen
Yeah.
guy. But I just
Oh,
felt
Oh,
he's
like
so
our
that was
short and
boy.
he
crazy.
had
The
a
That made me
big.
laugh.
gigantic.
I just feel like our boy Prince 4 was at the sex, whatever it's called, really getting his thing,
Oh, a
and just
sextillion?
not even knowing. But I loved it when the guy who was killing everybody killed her.
Who?
Not
The the
no,
the
no, I'm
son,
sorry.
mom, the
Prince
person that
did
had the
kill.
girl. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Prince
Prince
killed
killed her.
the
Hmm.
lady. I was like, kill her finally. But
Mhm.
why we couldn't switch that life for Dr. Oswald? That's what I don't understand.
And
Why
different
couldn't there have
I
been
killers.
an exchange?
That man's brain was so full, his circuit was fried because he sure enough was sitting there
Yeah.
talking about, I need more. I need more. I
Yeah.
was like, what? You've got like 3 people in
Mhm.
there with you right now.
Well,
What do
and then
you need?
they show that he's like in a dream the whole time too. So like when he
Yeah,
woke up, he literally had no idea what was happening. Like he was not present in
he
that
wasn't.
situation
Mhm.
whatsoever.
He wasn't. And I would
And
have been,
that lady knew because somebody else was like,
yeah.
"Don't you think we should tell them that we found him? He's been missing for a while." And she's like,
But
"No,
no.
his money's
No,
good."
nope. She was like, we don't do nothing until their money's dry. But then when he
Mhm.
asked her, hey, how long have I been here? She said 28 days. He
No,
killed
no,
her
that was
off
how long
top.
the baby had been
The baby
born
had been
Oh,
for.
the
born.
baby has
He
Yeah.
been
could have been there
born.
Yeah.
longer.
Right. The baby has been born and killed him. I said, there you go. Finally.
Because
Things
you
to
knew.
killing is making sense.
Well, I think that's the one thing about him. Like even before, we don't get to see too much about him that's like good necessarily or that you can connect to, except for that he was excited to have a baby. Like he wanted to be there for his family and have that baby. And so like when he wakes up, his wife is dead and the
Right?
baby's been alive for 21 days and he's been stuck here
Right.
because nobody would wake him up. Like he's pissed.
And
Obviously. Like he wants his kid.
rightfully so. He
I'm like
ready
that's
to
the one
turn.
thing I think is like maybe not necessarily like redeeming after everything else that he's done, but that's like the one
Mhm.
thing I really do like about his character.
Now, listen, his daddy is ruthless though, because the
Mhm.
fact that he was like, we're gonna place her next to your brother. I was like,
Because it's respectable or something?
yeah,
Like
he's like he's a true
ugh.
a
Mhm.
true hero or something. I don't know. He said something
Mhm.
sideways.
That was
I'm
really
like, bro,
Yeah.
sad.
listen, your son has gone through so much trauma because he never wanted. Clearly, he never wanted to fight.
Mhm.
He didn't want to be a part of this whole situation. He didn't want to fight and gets traumatized. His wife is dead. His son has been kidnapped. And then you add the cherry on top by saying, well, listen, we're finna bury your wife next to your brother because, you know, that's the noble thing to do. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
I would find my son, I'd come back and I'd kill that man.
Speak
Hey,
on
that
it.
might happen. I don't know.
We
I
don't
haven't
know if
read
that could
that far,
happen.
but
Okay,
Hamlet
I have a
style.
question.
Not
Your
Yeah.
Hamlet.
theory.
I like it.
How, okay, is the king born with a flat screen TV for a head, or do they undergo a surgery to get that put on when they reach the status?
like
That's
how yeah,
that's what
how
I
does
need
this
to know.
work? Because they've
I
talked
feel
about
very bad for that woman's vagina.
oh, seriously.
Oh
That's a
my
C-section right there. Like you
gosh.
just have to
I mean, I felt bad for the princess birthing the other one.
Well, somebody mentioned in volume 3, I think, that they can't tell, like, this one person was unable to tell the difference between Prince class and Duke class. So it sounds like their head of the TV is similar. And then obviously Dango is a black and white TV.
Mm-hmm.
So like we have the different kinds and we see that she gave birth like vaginally. So it's
Mhm.
not like they're just made. They have like biologically somehow. But yeah, flat screen is a very interesting choice.
I just want to let y'all know
A
that
gigantic flat
watching
screen.
her child, her son, be born was crucial.
Yeah, because I was like,
First
that
page of that
little.
volume too. Very first page. There you go.
I
I
I
said,
was
was
how
like,
like,
you
I
this
just
is
didn't,
did
I
this
didn't get
crucial.
it, but
vaginally?
okay.
That's what I didn't get.
I don't know how she did
Vaginally.
it. I'm not gonna
That's,
lie. I don't know how she did that because ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. And he had a big head.
he
And they
had a
obviously don't have the
huge
bones
head.
that babies have where they can overlap to get through, so I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
These
Listen,
know.
are
did something
all
else
questions
confirm
that need
my like no
answers.
birth for me status? That volume did. First page, I said nope.
No, ma'am.
Talk about being loose.
Oh,
I'm talking about think about the king's head. Like, bruh, even if it
that
was like
thing
on the
It's
ain't
not
first,
even
snapping
that.
back.
It's just
That
this
not
thing
not
ain't
snapping
snapping
back.
back.
It
Yeah,
ain't
just
even make
Somebody
based
gonna
on
sense in
the
the
get up.
world
size
to
of
make
his
that
head to
snap
his
back.
body.
No, somebody gonna get up in there and be like, "Hey, yo, yo, yo," and be a whole
gonna
echo
be a
coming
little
out.
slicey dice on the tummy.
But it's like throwing a hot dog into a cave.
No, it's not exactly a hot dog into a cave, baby. They ain't
Goodness.
feeling nothing. There is no sound. There is no sound here anymore.
No
Just an
snapback.
echo.
There's nothing. It's just hope, dreams, and no wishes. And it's just it's just bad.
Yeah, but the fact you're right, Chelsea, though, the fact that that's the opening scene, it was like, whoa.
First page. I wasn't expecting that.
I was like, wait, hold on, wait, stop. I was like, I forgot how wild Saga is. Saga is wild. It is
They
so
go for it.
immensely.
Mhm.
I've seen kids try to check out Saga at the library, and I'm like, I can't. I'm not your parent. I'm not your parent. Go ask your big person.
All you have
Who's
to
a
do
big
is open
person?
that first page and be like, "Do you want your kid to read this?"
Oh
Actually, the
man,
first page of volume 1 was Alana giving birth, so we have lots of childbirth at the very beginning of some of these volumes.
you do,
Yep.
So,
you
At
do.
least we didn't get a prayer one in the first, you know?
then again, I
Listen,
guess if a kid's going to pick it up and look at something, I would rather them look at childbirth compared to some of the other stuff that's in the volumes. Like,
Stick
then
of it.
we can talk about stuff later, you know? Like, yeah, childbirth of a TV head. It's
it rem-
great.
it reminds me of what's this other comic that I absolutely love, and I really want to reread it. I Hate Fairyland.
I need to read that.
Oh.
Like I Hate Fairyland, we actually was interesting because I Hate Fairyland looks like it could be a children's comic low key because of the art style.
It almost looks like
And
Candyland or something.
yeah, it does. It looks like a zombie like Candyland.
Hmm.
And then you open up the first page and the main character is standing there with both of her middle fingers up in the air. But she's in the body of like an 8-year-old. So you're confused when you look at the cover because it looks like an 8-year-old like in
Hmm.
Candyland. And then when you flip open the cover, she's standing there with her middle fingers up because she's 40 years old, but she's trapped in an 8-year-old's body because she got stuck in fairyland and couldn't get out. So she aged, but she didn't physically.
I need
It's
to read that one. It's been on my
I
list
do
for
hilarious.
a
too.
while.
I love
It's
Scotty Young.
Scotty Young did an excellent job with that. It's super gory, but it's hilarious. I Hate Fairyland is one that I do need to do a reread of because it's so funny, but it reminds me of that whole thing, kids picking it up and thinking it's one thing, and
Mm.
it's definitely not.
Wow. It be like that.
All
I
species
mean,
do happen in
They out there speaking their truth. You understand me?
time.
Speaking their truth.
What are
I'm
you
here for
most
every
looking
moment.
forward to as we continue like our reread of the series? What is something you're looking forward
Crying. I know
to?
what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna just say it's not a reread for me. I just want to say that.
What you mean?
She hadn't
I've
read it
Oh,
never.
before.
you haven't read it. You haven't read it. Yeah.
I
Well,
read the first volume, and that was it.
it'll stop
Sorry, that
being a
was the
reread
one.
for me. Not next live show, but what would be the one after that?
Same.
It'll.
I've read up through volume 6, so after that will be completely new.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I just keep hearing that it's incredibly heartbreaking.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I think I have just the way that, okay, I have some theories because of the way. Izzy, how far have you read?
I read the 8. You're fine. I've basically
So
read
none
till
of us have
volume
read
8.
volume 9.
No, none of us have read volume 9. I have some theories just because of the way that Hazel was talking in volume 4 about her parents. It
Mhm.
was something that she was doing that almost hints a little bit about what could possibly go wrong.
Well, and see,
Yeah, I
I don't
think
even know
they're
if I
gonna
have any
die.
ideas, but in volume 3, she also specifies that she went with her grandmother to her mom's homeworld,
Thank
but her
you.
mom
Thank
never
you.
got to go back. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so I don't know what's
There
going to
you
happen. Her
go.
grandmother's going to live a little bit longer, probably, if it's this grandmother. We haven't
You
seen
Yeah.
took
Alana's
the
parents,
you
but
took the words out of my
that was
mouth.
something
I
that I
mean,
don't think I remembered the first time, but I definitely caught it this time, and I was like,
I did too.
oh,
And I was like, oh
something's
shit.
gonna happen potentially, but like her grandmother's there for a while, as long as
Hmm.
it's this grandmother.
I
What did
mean
we
the
think of
other grandma
Alana's
is the young
stepmom?
one because her mom was dead.
No, but I mean, like, we haven't seen Alana's parents, have we?
Yes, we
Like, so
did.
she
No, but
The
Alana's
stepmom.
mom is dead. Her biological mom is dead.
I
But
must
we've
have
And her
forgotten
seen
that.
dad
I don't
we've seen her
remember.
remarried.
stepmom and her
Oh, so
and
we,
yeah,
yes, and she has the butterfly wings. I thought that
yeah,
was interesting. They have different kinds of wings.
yeah.
Mhm.
I
I
do remember that now.
I hate to say this, but I think something's going to happen to Marco first. And the reason why I say that is because in volume 4, if you pay attention to the way that Hazel talks, is always in context of what her mother has taught her. She
Okay.
never talks about anything that Marco has taught her whatsoever.
Mm.
It's always mom told me, mom told me, mom taught me, mom told me.
So he might before she's old enough to remember
Yeah,
certain lessons.
yeah.
Well, as long as we're prepared.
I don't know. You know how you can
No,
know
but no, it's good.
something?
It's good to anticipate the worst because
Yeah.
then you're
Mhm.
pleasantly surprised if they don't die.
I mean, I'm concerned that's volume 9 with how everyone has acted about volume 9.
Yeah. Well, and my husband's
So,
read up through it because he thought I finished it, and he has not told me anything. But like, he's read it, and like, apparently it's bad. I have no idea.
Yeah, my coworker read it because he decided that he was going to reread it. And he read volume 9 as soon as it came out. And he came into work the next day. He's like, Ashley, I am not okay. I was like, dang.
And that's why I
So,
stopped. Yeah.
yep.
ugh, yikes. And apparently, we have a couple of individuals who have already read it as well.
Yeah. Well, I was
Yeah.
concerned about him as well, but that's only because we have the issue for issue what 55,
Yeah, the
and
cover.
Alana and Hazel are on the cover, and he's
Mhm.
not,
And Marco's
and so
not.
I'm not happy. But we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Geez, now it's making me a little anxious.
Right?
Yeah,
It's
it
out of my
is.
head. It's out of my
Oh, I hate
head.
that. I hate that. I hate that.
Especially since like my first read through, he was my favorite. Now, especially when we're reading it through again, like everybody has so many more facets than what I remembered the first time that I don't know if I could full on like pick favorite characters.
Hmm.
But when I read the first 6 volumes the first time, like he was my favorite. So we'll see.
I think too he just has a very he is very how can I put this? He has a very calming personality to me.
Mhm.
Like he's a very
No,
good
I agree
balance
with
for
that.
Alana.
Hmm.
Yes, he's a very, very good balance for her. But I feel like she's very. I don't want to say she's high strung, but she's not as peaceful as he is, and I kind of
She's
got
more
pissed.
outgoing for sure.
I got kind of pissed at her in Volume 4 because of the fact that she just, you know, I can understand, but I got kind of pissed because she just went off the hinges.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
feel like for Marco, it was like I know he felt bad because it's like, I can't work and you can. And, I felt like she kind of took advantage of him being like, you could tell there because even with the stuffed animal, she had no idea
No.
that Hazel needed that to go to
Yeah,
sleep.
he was
She's
the
like, what?
stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, he was a stay-at-home dad, and he
Mhm.
knew exactly. And she had no idea what that thing. She was like, I don't know. Was it a game or something that like she plays with her dad? Like I don't. She didn't know
Mhm.
what it was, and I was like, that's super unfortunate that she doesn't know. And I get, and for me, I think it was a little different because I am a working parent, and I kind of felt for that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like frustrating, but kind of understanding where that's coming from, where you're trying to, you have no choice but to work full time because you have to provide for your family, but you miss out on certain things. Like there's certain things that my daughter learns, and I'm like, I don't know that she's learning it because I'm not there all the
Mhm.
time. So
Mhm.
I kind of get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like her a lot more this reread, but volume 4 makes me the most annoyed with like the family stuff, especially since we don't get the whole story because obviously they had been on that planet for a while, but it
Yeah.
seems like she bottled everything in too because like she is doing the
Mhm.
drugs and that kind of stuff, but when he questions her about it and catches her in the act almost, she starts to blame work and having to go do this stuff and like it doesn't sound like they've ever talked about it.
They
And
haven't.
so
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
you can
not a
tell.
healthy family relationship. And I feel like he was trying to at least bring some of that stuff up, but she was defensive right away. And it was probably because she was
Mhm.
currently on the drug. But it
I
just like that kind of
Well, and
stuff
she
annoyed me.
knew like
Oh, she
what
had to
she
have known
was
it
doing
was
was
not the best
bad, right?
option.
Like
Or like when he asks,
in
"Have you ever
general.
been high around our child?" And she's
Mhm.
like, "So what if I was?" Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
if anybody
He
was
threw that
on drugs
groceries.
around my kid, I would be pissed. And then to think that like you're also the parent, and if you're high when you're supposed to be watching your kid, probably not the best option.
Speak your truth.
I
I mean, it's just like those things annoyed me. The
I think
family drama.
I think the conversations too about what I thought was interesting, and I wouldn't have caught this on my first reread too. I mean, on my first read of the series, sex does not fix everything.
Mhm.
And it's very interesting to see that pointed out because in that moment where Marco and Alana are having sex that night, Hazel
Mhm.
makes a comment. It's amazing, like basically two people could never be so close and so far apart or so far away from each other at the same time.
Mhm.
And they were looking for that physical intimacy to fix whatever issues they were having. And it couldn't. I also like that Alana told her that sex is not going to be fireworks every single time.
No, that's good.
It's
Yeah.
Mhm.
not
Me too.
reality. And I do feel like, honestly, that is something, I'm a big proponent of sex education, but I also am a big proponent of setting realistic expectations when it comes to physical intimacy. That it's not
Mhm.
going to be like the movies and it's
Mhm.
not always going to be great. Sometimes it's going to be like, yeah, that was horrible. Like, that was horrible. And I like it wasn't a long discussion. It was just kind of like those 2 pages.
Yeah.
But even within those 2 pages, to kind of get that conversation that, physical intimacy can be important in a relationship, but it's not everything. And clearly,
Yes.
even with Alana and Marco, who are in love, married, have a kid, like it wasn't going to fix their problems.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I
Only
think
if, right? Only if.
only if that it was as simple as that, like that's how we fix. But it's so many different things to consider in relationships, and I think this is a good point too right here.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, she doesn't. That's for sure. I
she
agree.
doesn't.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't. And I forgot about that honestly until I read the part where she was saying like, you know about her family dynamic and how when he threw the groceries, she's like, I draw the line there. I don't do assault at all. Which Marco shouldn't have thrown the bag of groceries at her.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
Mhm.
that was a
he
bit much.
got aggressive, and she said, "I'ma holla at you, player.
See,
You're
get
gonna have to
out.
pack your shit and get out."
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna have to leave. He wasn't expecting that, but I mean,
He wasn't.
I applaud her for standing her ground on that. I really
Mhm.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, she's seen some stuff. She was trying to tell the ghost girl, like,
Hmm.
I've been through some stuff and this is triggering for me. So it's gonna be under no circumstances will I allow this behavior. And she's like, it's just groceries. And Alana's like, I don't give a fuck what it was, essentially.
I don't blame her. I don't care if it's
Well,
because
neither.
it could be groceries today and a fist tomorrow.
Speak
Mhm.
on it. Amen.
Because that's sometimes that's how it goes. It starts with
Mhm.
groceries, and then next thing you know, people swinging at each other. So I definitely get where she was coming from. I'm glad she stood her ground on that. But
Yeah, you
I'm
never
not
know
gonna
when
lie.
it's gonna go more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't. You
No,
never
you.
know. You don't.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. The best part of this reread for me was actually just seeing that last panel. I can't get past that last panel of
It's so
Marco and
good.
the prince together
It's so good.
because he had
It's such
that
a good
black suit
panel.
on. I said, "Okay, sir," with the black suit.
Yeah.
Well, and they look like older as well. They're like the gruffy men, and then
Yeah,
they're in their
Mhm.
outfit. They have their weapons. Like they just,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's such a good setup.
It
It
was. It was
is.
a really good setup.
It's one of the
Well, I'm
better
ready.
cliffhangers of the comics compared to some of the other volumes.
Mhm.
True.
I like that one better.
Well, I'm excited to see how that develops because I don't know. I mean, y'all know, but I
Oh
don't.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. But I don't
Yeah.
remember
Y'all
Bree,
know.
so
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know a
me
little,
reading
but
these for
not
the first
much.
time.
Yeah,
Hmm.
this
I
thing
don't
is,
remember a lot of
I
it.
read these in 2017 last,
And mine was before that.
2018,
Yeah, mine was before that too.
maybe. I don't know.
Damn.
Might have
So I
been longer
guess
than
we're
that,
all newbies.
honestly. But yeah, it's definitely not really like fresh in my mind how this all plays out.
Clearly not, because when I was seeing stuff in these volumes, I was like, "Whoa!"
I was too. I was like, wait, that's what happened? That's right.
So we're just killing people like that.
And taking names. I said,
He
Take no
doesn't even
I
need
prisoners.
any
read.
names. He's just killing them.
Take no
He's just killing
prisoners.
them. I will say though, this is like some of the best comics I've read. And
Hmm.
I don't know if it's because I just been maybe the more I get into comics, I'll be like, okay, this was good, that was good, this wasn't good, etc. But to me, everything feels really fucking good. I feel like I've been reading some really good shit.
No,
So,
you've been reading some. You really some titles that you've been picking up truly are just good works of art, but you are
yeah,
going
I've
to
been
come
reading.
across some that are not.
Don't say
They're
that
not.
to
Yeah,
me,
it's gonna
Ashley. I'm not
happen.
writing.
It's going to happen. The more you start getting into Marvel and DC, is when it really will start hitting the fan. Like that was not
Hmm.
good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
realize I need to start putting my comics on Goodreads. That's what I think I need to do because I fly through them
Why aren't you doing that
and
already?
I just forgot. I'm gonna be
I mean, I
honest.
guess okay. I like
You're like,
seeing my Goodreads goal go up when I read things. Like, put it on
because
there.
I got a Marvel subscription because of Ashley.
Oh, Marvel Unlimited.
And it's really the
Hmm.
devil because I have been hopping around like I couldn't even tell y'all. So there's this one called Valkyries. Have y'all read Valkyries?
I haven't.
Oh, it's so good.
Mm-mm.
It's so good. I'm hopping around like I'm losing my shit. It's
Mm-mm.
good. It's good. And then they like
Marvel.
tell you like, "Oh, we got this from this issue and that
Oh yeah,
run."
they'll
And then you
send you
like
on a
go to
live
that
through
one.
space. Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Marvel's
I love a
so
good hop. We live
Marvel's
for
so
it.
difficult to freaking read.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
I said Marvel is so difficult to read, to be honest with
It
you.
is.
Oh.
Yeah, Marvel's hard. Like DC right now is a good time to start because DC has done a soft reboot, so it's not as hard to kind of pick
Hmm.
up with what's going on in DC. But Marvel is just like, bruh, like it's ridiculous.
I haven't read much Marvel or DC at all. Superhero stuff, like when it's
Mhm.
strictly that, isn't necessarily my thing sometimes. So I usually end up reading
Oh,
more indie comics.
I don't blame you.
yeah.
Indies are
I
always
read
easier to
the
stick with.
yeah, I
They're
read
always
the
better.
non-superhero stuff on my Marvel Unlimited.
Oh no, I know they have tons of stuff. I just haven't even tried to get into it yet.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
I, I read a lot of like Boom comics and Image and
Boom and
those kind of
Image are
stuff.
Image always puts out good
Dude,
stuff.
Mhm.
Image does the Lord's work. I almost put a TikTok, not a TikTok.
Hey Nicole.
I almost put
It's
a
my
Twitter
Nicole.
out saying Image does good work, but I was like, I'm gonna have to look it up because what if they are trash ass company and I'm
They're
out
not.
here
Image
like,
No,
is
they're
oh,
good.
that's
Image
so great.
Image is what happens when Marvel and DC piss off their writers and artists.
Yep,
Yeah.
That
exactly.
that's what happens. That's how Image came about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Image a lot of them go indie, and Image specifically because when you write for DC and Marvel, you don't have rights to your
Mhm.
stuff. It
Hmm.
belongs to the company. Whereas, if you create a
That's fucked
character,
up.
an image, that is your character. The rights belong to you. But you create a new character like James Tynion created Punchline, who is supposed to be like the new I don't like it, but she's supposed to be like the new Harley Quinn. Punchline does not belong to James whatsoever. He has no rights to her.
Hmm.
Punchline belongs to DC, so it's not his character, which is why I feel like James balances that stuff out by doing a lot of indie stuff because it's indie stuff. He has the rights to it.
Ah, makes sense. Oh, I'm so excited. I get to read more comics.
Don't I can understand why it's intimidating. I definitely get it. Um, that's why I said like right now, honestly, DC it's a perfect time really to jump into DC. To be honest with you, because DC has softened. They've done a launch where new readers can kind of hop into the groove of things.
Hmm.
I think DC's history is more complex than Marvel's, but I think DC has rebooted itself enough to where it's easier to jump in. Marvel, on the other hand, like first of all, I said this in a video. Marvel and X Men are like two different. It's all
Hmm.
Marvel. X Men feels like its own entity out, even like outside of Marvel.
It does.
It
I
really
would
does.
say pick a character. Seriously, like pick a
That's what
character in
I'm
DC or
doing.
Marvel and read that character. So like I picked Captain Marvel and I like did research. I really recommended Kelly Sue Comics run at that. I loved it.
Mhm.
DC,
Yeah.
I jumped in on the reboot of Batgirl where she's in the yellow Doc Martens,
Okay.
and that's really good. Gotham Academy was really fun.
You like Gotham Academy?
I thought it was fun. I didn't read all of it, but what I read of it was fine. Like,
It was good,
it's
and
not
then
like amazing, but like it's a
trash.
good starting point. Like it
Not
gets
It
you
is.
in
trash.
to Gotham a little bit without like direct Batman.
I
Depends on what you
second
want.
the pick the character Izzy because I'm reading all of the Black Panther. I honestly
Hmm.
thought I was gonna read all of them this year, but that was a fucking lie. I told myself
Mm-mm.
that's over
That's a lot.
300 now. It's over 300 comics, and
And they
I'm
just
just
Yeah.
like,
restarted it.
Well,
They
and that's
just
the thing is you
restarted
don't
it.
have to read like everything. Like
You
literally
don't.
pick a character, Google where to start with X character, and go from there.
And you
Like
can
yeah.
pick
don't
a
start at
run.
issue 1.
Yeah, you can
No,
start at different
I started from where Black Panther first appeared, which is in
with the
Fantastic
Fantastic
Four.
Four.
Yeah,
And
that's quite the
let me tell
journey
you,
you're
that
on.
writing is hard because this is
Yeah, I
60s.
wouldn't I wouldn't recommend anybody that's newer. If you're newer to comics, I do not recommend starting like in the 60s and 70s because the writing
Mm-mm.
is very very tedious
Hmm.
back then, and it's so hard to jump into comics from the 60s and the 70s. Like it's just daggone near impossible. I do not recommend jumping into DC in the 80s because that's when they DC just DC's history is so messy.
They
They're
said they gonna
finally
head out.
just now getting it to where it makes sense to some degree. Um, but yeah, the older stuff is definitely
Hmm.
harder to read. But Marvel just rebooted, not rebooted. They just started with another issue 1 for Black Panther because what's the guy who wrote 12 Years a Slave?
Ta-Nehisi Coates? No,
No,
not him.
no. Ta-Nehisi Coates' run just ended. This is dang, he's writing for Marvel and DC right now. He's doing Black Batman for DC and he's doing Black Panther for Marvel. What is
Oh,
his
he
name?
busy, ain't he?
Yeah, man, I don't know how they looped his behind in, but they looped him in. And I can't even remember the man's name, which is so sad. Got all these comics sitting right here. I can't remember the
Same,
name.
Monica. I have a lot of Image. Most of the comics I own is Image.
I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, they started with number one again for John Ridley. Thank you,
John Ridley. I
John
just
Ridley.
want to go to a nice, good comic book store because what I have here is not giving. So I think I'm gonna have to go somewhere else.
I stopped. I need to go back, but I stopped, man, because it just.
Um, I know of a good one in Louisiana, but I don't know. It's in Lake Charles.
Oh,
There was a good one in Lake
that's
Charles that
not
we used to go
far.
to.
Okay.
Um, I can't remember the name of it. It's been a while. But I liked that one.
Okay. Not Salter coming in on the ones and twos with
Oh yeah, with
the
the John Ridley,
knowledge.
you see that right? You see sneaks in
Get
right.
it. Get
Mm.
it. Y'all, I just found my glasses. I'm so happy. These
All right,
things been
y'all.
missing for like 4 weeks.
Sorry, boo. No, I just cut you off. How many more volumes do we have? We have five, six,
Then 7 and 8.
And
nine.
9. So there's 5 volumes left.
So should we do seven, eight, and nine together as one?
Probably, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so
And then we'll all cry because we'll be devastated.
we'll be devastated.
Well, that means we don't
Is
read
that the
those last
last one
three
of the
until
volume?
January, right?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we
We would
wouldn't.
like right before the issue comes out.
Mm-hmm.
When does issue 55 drop? When in January? Do y'all know what day?
Is it the 12th? I could be wrong.
I thought it was like the 26th.
It could
Is it
also be
that
that.
Hold
late?
on.
Is there a 2 in the number somewhere?
Wait a minute. Have all of us pre-ordered?
No,
I
Yeah,
I'm
did.
probably gonna buy it digitally. To be honest with you,
I already
I'm
pre-ordered
gonna
it
buy it
digitally,
I
digitally
so
did.
when
I
it comes
pre-ordered.
out.
I will tell you in just a minute. I'm getting it pulled up. Uh,
That's so sad. Okay, so when are we doing the next one, the 5 and 6?
that's what I was about to say. If y'all wanted to do it on the 14th or the 15th of December,
I can't do either of those days.
16th.
Let's just say yeah.
How about no?
I can do.
I know it's no point in doing it the
Okay.
week of the 20th because that's
The week
Christmas.
before. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
unless y'all can
it's the
get through these
26th of
issues.
January.
26th.
26.
Yeah,
I knew there was a 2. That's all I knew.
yeah, I mean that week is rough because I am throwing my 1-year-old niece a birthday party.
I mean, unless y'all can get through 2 volumes by next week.
I mean, I read
Mm,
both today, so
I
But have to
mean,
be
I
late next
could.
week.
When next week, Izzy?
Thursday or Friday.
The 9th?
Yeah.
Chelsea?
I can
should be
do
fine.
that.
All right, let's do volumes 5 and 6 then on the 9th.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I'll
Same
read
time,
those
same time?
the same day, just like I did this.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna read them probably the same day during the same
I think
meeting.
we all pretty much read it
I
either the
think I
day
did,
before or the
yeah.
same day.
It's just
Just
I
so we're
wasn't
easiest.
fresh.
planning to read them today, but they were really quick read. I don't know why I
They're
thought
quick
I
read.
took so long to read them the first time.
And then we can save, I mean, well, we'll talk about 7, 8, and 9, but we definitely do 5 and 6 on the 9th. All right,
Well,
y'all.
yeah.
We've been here for hour 24. So we will see y'all back again on the 9th, 8:30 to talk about volumes 5 and 6. Sound
6.
good?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Nighty night.
See you later.
Bye.